So hello and welcome. My name is Shuchitana Chatterjee, and I'm the country leader for the Indian team for the 8th International Conference on Women in Physics. And here are my co-authors. So what we wanted to put forward in our poster is how the scenario on addressing the gender gap has changed over time in India. So what we are going to present here is actually some of statistics that has been collected through the GIPWG of the Indian Physics Association. And what we are presenting here in this slide is actually representation of women in different stages of their academic career over institutions from universities, IITs and ICERs and research institutions. And this is their representation in the departmental colloquium. So what we observe is that the fraction of women faculty is the least in research institutions, and it's of course highest in the universities. However, the fraction of women students is also higher in universities. So if we look at the faculty to student ratio when it comes to women, the fraction is as worse in universities as is it in research institutions, which is evident of the leaky pipeline that exists in STEM and in physics in particular. So here we present the data for major national conferences. These are DAE BRNS conferences, and we are just showing the fraction of invited speakers who are women among the total number of speakers. And it turns out that there are only 18%, roughly there is on an average, 18% of the plenary speakers are women. Whereas if we consider faculty and postdocs in physics, roughly the number is 22%. So it is even yet to reach the fraction of women scientists in India in terms of representation of women in conferences as invited speakers. These are some more detailed data that some of the conferences collected. And what we like to point out is that there has been very conscious effort to address this problem, and the organizers of these conferences are proactive in trying to collect data and present and rectify the issues in subsequent conferences. These are some GOI policies, for example, which there were a lot of policies that existed from the government of in India. Now there is a new DST scheme, which is the Vidushi scheme, directed for or targeted for senior women scientists. There has been special recruitment drives across institutions. This is a poster from the Indian Institute of Science, where they are proactive in recruiting women in their faculty to address the gender gap. As part of EQUIP 2023, the IPAG-IPWG organized a series of satellite events. So this is the PAUSE program, which is aimed toward mentoring of young aspiring women physicists, targeted toward bachelor, master's, and PhD students. And this is a workshop, interactive workshop for them to come to physics and how to survive and change the climate and enrich the community through their talent. There has been organization of the Pavinari Lecture Series, which is a series of lectures aimed toward showcasing the life and work of prominent women physicists all over the world. And it started from December 2022, and the lecture is every month there is one lecture, and we like to so this is the first lecture was on Anna Money, who's a famous climate scientist. And we like to emphasize that while inviting the speakers, the IPAG, IPWG made it a case that the speakers must be from both genders, as has been evident in the speaker list. There are a series of other workshops organized by IPA, and especially I would like to mention the panel discussion that happened very recently, where it was discussed that the MCQ-based entrance test, which is a standard entrance test for admission to bachelor's, master's, and PhD program in India in physics, are they gendered or not? And there has been a very effective discussions on that, because it turns out that the data, the global data, as well as the Indian data that has been collected so far, shows that it is indeed biased toward women. Now, the major change, I think, that came after major, I think, success that happened after EQUIP 2021 is, before EQUIP 2021, there were only two gender in physics groups operating in India. One is the GIPWG, and the other was the Astronomical Society of India Gender Group. But post EQUIP 2021, there has been gender groups in physics, in high energy physics, in condensed matter physics, and the Indian Association for General Relativity and Gravitation, and of course, the Indian Association for Physics Teachers that has come in the past 1.5 years, which is a great success. And we want to share the success stories of some of our fantastic women colleagues. Professor Prof. Sobhana Narasimhan, for example, has been elected as the APS Fellow for promoting diversity in the physics community. Professor Prajwal Shastri has been elected as a vice chair, and Professor Sumati Surya as the first women president of the IAGRG. Now, what we like to emphasize is the road forward is, first of all, the institutional culture has to change, people's mindset has to change, because the diversity, the gender gap problem must be seen as a problem, and women should be seen as assets in departments and institutions rather than a diversity rectification issue. The road forward, of course, is a cross-disciplinary approach where the STEM actually does crosstalk with our colleagues in the social sciences and gender studies expertise. And of course, what is required and what IPA envisions to do is organize a nationwide survey and use them for framing policies in the future. And I would like to stop here and thank you all for listening. Please to come to our poster, and we would be very interested to hear your feedback. Thank you very much.